Welcome to the Soul Call with Kelly B. I'm Kelly Butchart, soul medicine woman, energy alchemist, intuitive guide and change maker. I'm here to activate soul remembrance, unlock purpose and support the personal and collective evolution into sacred sovereignty. This podcast is a space for heart-led women to rise, to take their power back, to walk in truth and live elevated lives of joy, abundance and deep fulfillment. Through powerful conversations with visionaries, way-showers and spiritual leaders, we weave ancient wisdom, quantum healing and divine insight to awaken something within your soul. This is more than a podcast, it's a movement, a remembering. This is the Soul Call. All of my offerings, social links and ways to connect are in the show notes below each episode. Be sure to check them out, I'd love to meet you there. And please remember to like, subscribe and share. Thank you for being here. Hi everyone and welcome back to the Soul Call with Kelly B. Today I'm joined by a truly magical guest whose presence and work embody freedom, creativity and deep spiritual remembrance. Lisa Marie Kavanagh is the founder of Rock and Rose Rituals and Conkers Magical Earth Academy, two beautiful expressions of her sacred mission to help others remember who they truly are. A multidimensional guide, intuitive business mentor, and sacred site explorer, Lisa weaves nature, ritual, and creative soul expression into everything she does. After courageously stepping away from the 9-to-5 matrix, a path that I know well, and living in her van while travelling across Scotland, she now lives between Dorset and Scotland, my home place, creating sacred products, soul-led mentorships, and magical experiences for children. Lisa's work carries the frequencies of ancient wisdom, starseed remembrance, and practical spirituality, all designed to activate the healer, the leader, and the creator within. I can't wait to dive into her journey and all the beauty she's bringing into our beautiful world. So welcome, Lisa. It's such a joy to have you here today.
Kelly, it's such a joy to be with you. I just love you already.
Now, I'm laughing as I'm introducing you, Lisa Marie, because as I was reading the podcast, the intro, I stalled and stumbled. And this is what happens sometimes with me and my energy. And we were having a brief chat before we come on saying that, oh, how are we today? We're feeling a little bit low. And we were really recognising that in each other. And then, of course, when I started to introduce you, I stumbled. And then that just raised the frequency straight away because we had a laugh about it. So I just want to thank you first and foremost for meeting me in that place of, oh, this is where I am today. And then instantly we've shifted it before we came on.
Amazing, isn't it? Amazing. Beautiful co-creation.
I know, I know. So I really hope that I've done you justice there with introducing your beautiful self to this
Phenomenal. Yeah.
place.
Like, who is that person?
And I want to thank everyone for tuning in to this episode today. And I also want to give a shout out to the gorgeous Diane Pegler, who has introduced me to this incredible soul sitting in front of me today. Diane was a previous guest on my show here, and she's written an incredible book called The Sacred Order of the Magi. So if you haven't read the book, you'll find it on Amazon. If you haven't listened to that podcast episode, I would really, really encourage you to listen to that special episode. So thank you, Diane. Mwah, love you lots. And Lisa Marie, thank you so much for coming on this show today. Even though we were kind of feeling, oh, this morning, we're here. We're like instantly shifted into vibrant mode. Let's let's rock and roll with it.
Backing off, Mary.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So you are like many people that I have on this show are very, very busy lady. And you have just recently landed back home from a very special personal adventure of your own to the Azores.
Yeah.
I would love to start there, Lisa Marie. What was it that attracted you to go to the Azores? And share, if you will, just a little bit about the experiences that you had when you were there, and then we'll get into your journey.
Okay, gosh. It's been a whirlwind. So I first learned of the Azores back in, or I think it was around 2019 when I had all the Magdalene waking up. And I used to journey and do sort of meditations and or shamanic journeys, whatever people you want to call them, daydreaming, I
Yeah.
like to call it. But they had this whale, this humpback whale guide that would come and join me, and then kind of take me off, and it would take me to these islands, the Azores, and there was this one particular island which I now know is Villa Franco de Campo, I think it's called. And from the air looking down, it looks like a heart with a perfect circle in the center. So I think it's a dormant volcano. But yeah, the whale would take me beneath there, swimming around it, beneath at the bottom of the ocean and opening portals. So I was very intrigued to get to this place. And so I finally did last week. Finally got there, and as soon as I got to the land opposite the island, because you can't actually go on it at the moment, it's not open to the public at the moment until June or July, I think. Um, but I just immediately fell to my knees and tears, just this remembrance and just this, felt I was embracing the land was embracing me. It's very, very emotional, very emotional. So my voice is a bit, I've had a lot of energy moving through the body. But yeah, the Azores, there's something very special there. The other place that my whale would take me to would be the bottom of the Bermuda Triangle.
Mhm.
Haven't been there yet. Um, yeah, so it's always and showing me crystal pyramids.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah, the Azores is a very, very special place. And I spent a week there with my beloved Daniel, and we got engaged on the island, which is very, very lovely and a complete surprise. Complete
Wow,
surprise.
congratulations from all of us. It's
Thank
just
you.
so beautiful.
Yeah, which is really lovely. Our journey has been quite extraordinary because we met at Tintagel Castle. That's where we met 4 years ago. Yeah, yeah. So after I'd been sort of taken out of my beloved Scotland, which I didn't want to, reluctantly, and it was worth it, and all of this that's come is worth it. So yeah, that's how I got to the Azores, and that's
Yeah.
just got back. And there was a big festival to celebrate Santa Cristo. It was this miraculous statue of the Christ that performs miracles. So once a year, there's a huge procession in the street. So yeah, we walked with this on, I think it was at the weekend. Yeah.
How
And
fabulous.
yeah, I got a chest and throat infection.
Oh, well, bless you, and thank you for still showing up today, even though, you're potentially purging some soul remembrance or past life stuff from there, perhaps. I don't know. But yeah, I'm kind of feeling like I'm purging and clearing stuff out just now as well. And we briefly touched on that before we press record today. So I guess Spirit was guiding me just to ask that question firstly, somebody, because it's a beautiful way to open this conversation to what you're about and who you are. So you very much are a Magdalene, and we'll hear a little bit more about what that means to you. I know that you'll be so much more than that, but the divine feminine Christ, Christos energy that's awakening within the hearts of humanity is palpable now. There are so many of us awakening to this remembrance. And what you've shared there as well is following these incredible visions. I love that you also have, I've had cosmic whale experiences as well in meditation, like crazy, like beautiful.
I love
But
it.
not only have you immersed yourself and felt the beauty of those visions, you've trusted them. And then you've gone to those places. There's been a calling. Your soul has called you back for there's always big reasons why to these places. And so what really has started to awaken within me is that it's following the signs. And, the clients that I work with that come into my spaces, that's what I'll say to them. Don't think it's just your imagination. This is beyond our imagination is very important, but this is like you couldn't make this up. These are soul memories. Trust the call, feel into it, and if it feels, benevolent and beautiful, sometimes it doesn't. There's reasons for that as well, but follow that call. So I would love to hear more, first of all, about how has that unfolded for you in your life's path? Were you always aware of, as many starseeds are, that you were different, that this wasn't your only home? How did that all come around for you to have so much trust in what you're now doing?
That's good questions. uh, yes, always known that I'm different. I remember as a child, like so many of us do, just going, what is this place? Why are people like this? Why do they treat each other like this? Nothing made sense, nothing.
Yeah.
So I would spend most of my childhood, sitting in the back garden alone at night, staring up at the stars, going, "Take me home." I didn't know why I was asking that, but I just would stare at the stars for hours. Just, yeah, wanted to go home. Um, so yeah, I remember being age 6, sitting in primary school, and again asking the questions, "Why have I got to come here? I don't like it here." Um, and because I was always getting in trouble. I was always being told off for the simple reason of asking questions. So basically, do this, and I would question, well, why? If it makes sense to me, then I'll do it. But if it doesn't make sense to me, then I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Then, of course, next thing I'm being sent out of the classroom again, and so so asking why, and then it was the first time I heard. Some people call it the God voice, the source, or whatever, or higher self. Um, Lisa, the world is going to change drastically. There's going to come a time where the world is going to change drastically, and you are here for this. So that's what I heard at 6. So I was like, oh, okay. But I also made a promise that when I'm big, I'm going to start my own school, one that I want to go to, which
Oh,
we'll
love
get
it.
on to a bit later, which we've done. Yeah, and then all through life, as soon as I could, I was called to travel. I mean, I was inspired by my granddad who went traveling when I was 10, and came back with all these stories from Australia, and I was like, when I grow up, I'm going to go to Australia. And so as soon as I could, I started travel. I left home at 18 and moved to London in my car. Just slept in my car until I had enough money to buy a hostel, rent a hostel for a night, and then eventually I got a place to rent. So but yeah, so it's, I guess now looking back, I can connect the dots, the grid work, as many call it.
Mhm.
And so it was London. And then from there, I've just been traveling nonstop. So what am I, 46 now? So quite a few, well, all my adult life, I've been following the calls to certain places. Now, a big call that I received when I was 22 was Colombia, and then Cambodia was a really, really, really strong call. And I was like, I have no idea anything about this place, but I know I need to get there. Um, so I did, I followed it. And then as soon as flew into Thailand and took a bus into Cambodia, as soon as we crossed the border, I had this tremendous sense of I'm home, real strong feeling of being home. Um, so I don't know, I haven't remembered that past life, but it could be something to do with I think I was there during the genocide because I have had visions of being in a genocide, like people all around me being not very nice things.
Yeah.
Um, and anyway, so I ended up staying there for nearly 2 months, and decided I followed a call to volunteer with what I thought was a local orphanage, but I later found out that children are bought from poor families and used as commodities for many reasons. So I single-handedly uncovered this whole child trafficking operation. Well, saying single-handed was myself and a local motorbike rider because we would go late at night to ask the guardians of the place what's really going on.
Mhm.
Um, and it was being run by the government. So I would meet with royal families and all sorts. So yeah, we've been pretty busy. And then from there, I then went to Australia, and I ended up living with the Anangu Pitjantjatjara, our family there, the sacred guardians of Uluru,
Mhm.
for 3 months. I lived there. And I mean, back then I was working as a dental nurse. So I was working, we had it was like a camper van with a dental surgery in the back. So we'd go around, there was 9 communities, and we would basically we would look after mostly children. So it was an incredible experience, but very profound as well. And, you know, it was a big bushfire experience, and I was just protected by an elder all night. Um, so yeah, it's been ongoing, and I can't seem to stop. I can't seem to stop traveling. Anytime I think, oh, finally we're settled. We're finally settled in a place. No, we just keep moving. So yeah.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Do you know, I'm getting goosebumps as you're speaking, and I just want to recognize the courage to follow the call at such a young age. You know, even just going down to London, you know, at 18 and living in your car, that's such a big deal in and of itself. But then to travel as far and as wide as you have, to really immerse yourself, not to be in the fringes of communities, but to really immerse yourself in the communities to the point where you're actually rescuing innocent children from horrendous, horrendous experiences. I mean,
I don't talk about that very much because it was,
yeah,
you know, even 20 odd years on, it's still like, shit, did that really happen? It was,
yeah,
and I look back on that girl then, I go, you were amazing, right? Because I don't know if I'd do it now. You
yeah,
know, I was
yeah.
just fearless, completely fearless.
I love that. Oh my goodness, I love that. And this is the thing, you know, I feel I've led, I wouldn't say it's been a sheltered life at all by any shape or form, but so many of us live safe lives where we do the 9 to 5, you know, we heard that in your intro. Um, there's safety in conformity. There's safety in doing what everybody else is doing and following that line. And it's sort of like, well, I'll just follow on from what my parents did, or I'll do better than what they did in a financial way, or, you know, I'll go to university. And you see so much of that. And not that there's anything wrong with that. That's been my path. I've walked that path. But now, just hearing your story, I'm like, I want so much more. I feel like I've come to all of this really late, but I also understand that we can only understand our own lives by reflecting back. So when you're talking about it's only now I'm making sense of it all and joining up the pieces. So I'm getting such heart activations as you're speaking because I'm feeling the sense of almost urgency to do more, to experience more for the rest of my life. And to take this lived wisdom into all the places that I'm being called to serve. And I hope that I get the courage and the conviction to do what you're doing.
Well, it's interesting you say that because now I'm being called, I've set up a new company, it's four now, um, which is Rock and Rose Adventures, which I take those that have feeling the call to these places, so you don't have to do it alone.
So
I'll work
amazing.
as a guide from afar, so we'll journey together, but you don't have to have me with you. So
Wow.
because I know a lot of people really, really want to do it, but I just don't know where to start, or you know, they have a lot of fears that come up around it.
Yeah.
Whereas to me, it's like eating; it's easy. You know,
Wow.
I've been doing it for so long, but but I didn't have. You know, I had an absent father and, you know, single mother and so a broken home and all of this. So I didn't have anyone saying, you need to go to university or you need, or guiding me on a path. And bless her, my mom is just like, you can do anything. So go and do anything you want to do. And I believed her, right? So yeah,
Um,
so that
wow.
was all set up. You know, our soul sets it all up, which is just
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And I
And
haven't
it's
had children.
right. So you've had that experience then in this life to enable you to be almost free in order to do what this mission has required of you, I suppose. And I love how you touched on as well, like even your 6-year-old self being that rebellious, like free, spirited
Yeah,
being to,
yeah,
how dare you question the matrix, the programs, the indoctrination. It's like, well, I'm you 6 years old, you know that you came in with a mission, like, is this
yeah,
actually best value of my energy? Like, why are we doing this?
yeah.
Do I
So
even
like
think about
pretty
this?
much all most of secondary school, I bunked off. And again, I was very blessed to go to a school
Yeah,
so bad they didn't even know I was missing. So it was perfect.
I love it.
Because then of course, when I received the call, now you're going to be part of building the New Earth schools or the New Earth education. I went, but I didn't even go to school. Why me? They went, exactly. You haven't been programmed.
I love this so, so much. So my experience was trying to change because I'm coded for systems change. I'm really into the gene keys and things, and a lot of it's really accurate with who I am as a person. And, being a bit of a systems buster, a disruptor, I've got the rebel streak in me as well. And it was kind of exhausting, to be honest.
Oh, being
Um,
in it. Yeah.
yeah, and I so just hoped that I made as much as my time whilst I was in education, working with young children, learning from them, and still being really curious. So I was the opposite, I invited children to ask questions because I wanted the rebelliousness, because I recognized so early on that we needed to disrupt the systems. So I hope that that was part of what I was positioned there to do, to really,
We need more like you.
yeah, I
With the
believe
children
so.
at
And
home say the same thing, that they really they loathe school. They
yeah,
loathe it. But they come to us and they thrive. And they all, I
yeah,
mean, the abilities they have are through the roof.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And this is the thing. I remember I had a primary 5 class, 10-year-olds, and Harry Potter had come out, and we turned our classroom into the Great Hall. And
Amazing.
it just lent itself to everything that I wanted to do because I was the weird teacher that was taking in crystals for children to teach each other about what these crystal beings could do for us. So I
They
was
really
teaching,
get it.
oh, they totally get it. And they would tell me what they felt from it, how it was helping them. So I learned a lot about crystals from the children.
Well, the children are here to teach us. It's the other way
Absolutely.
around.
Absolutely. So, I became quite at peace with obviously I couldn't do everything out there that I wanted to do, because I wouldn't have stayed in the job, I doubt very much. But that was rebellious enough, to do things like that. And I would have daily circle time with the children so that they were all heard, we were all valued. When I became latterly a head teacher, it was a non-negotiable to have meditation every day. So, it's always about going inwards and not just about the information that comes in. So, slowly trying to change the system. And we did lots of outdoor education, and what we thought was outdoor education. Let's look at this. What is outdoor education? And again, it's like the children teaching us, how to play again, how to be in joy and wonderment of
That's a big thing. That's
this
a big thing
world.
to say. And a big thing that I do is I help people to remember, what I call big children, how to play again. So
Absolutely. And I always used to say that when I was having a bad day, I would go down and spend time in my nursery and spend time with the wisest beings in the school, which were the 3-year-olds,
yeah,
because they were closest to God, closest to Source, without all of the indoctrination. And let's be clear, a lot of the souls that are coming in now are very, very old souls. Some are new souls and coming in with so much wisdom in this little body. And something that's dropped in for me recently is frequency time release. So as we grow and develop spiritually, when we're a frequency match, it's like then we see more, then we experience more. And I feel like these children's roles is to awaken us to ourselves. It's like telepathy tapes, for example. these kids that are coming in with totally switched on superpowers, can play instruments beautifully. They've got soul memories from other lives, and it's just incredible what's starting to happen. And I think we're seeing more of that now because more of us are a frequency match to understand it. And this is all part of the beautiful ascension pathway, isn't it? So I would love, love, love for you to talk into this incredible concept that has come to you. How has this Conkers Earth Magical School evolved? How is it birthed? What does it look like? What can children experience? Because it just sounds absolutely incredible, Lisa Marie.
It's great fun. Yeah. We just need more people and funding now. Just putting that out to the universe.
Yeah, let's call that in.
Yeah. So, yeah, again, this is around 2020 when, I mean, I obviously made this promise. I didn't remember this until years later that when I'm big, I'm gonna start my own schools. But then around 2020, maybe it was a bit before then, I received the message that I was going to be part of the building of the new education, the new world, the new earth education systems. I don't even like the word system actually. Um, and then in 2020, I started receiving um, guidance from the souls that haven't yet incarnated. So they're all around me. And they
Mhm.
go, right, you need to do this. They literally show me everything, the whole blueprint, everything. I mean, I've obviously come in with a load of it as well, but it keeps evolving and changing, um, and so it is the fundamental part is it's child-led learning.
Mhm.
Children will show us, they'll show us the way, and they're showing us how to build it. Um, Mixed age classes,
Mhm.
because the older children love to share their wisdom and the younger children they so look up to the bigger children and they have lots to share too, and to see how they bounce off each other is just such a joy. It's
Yeah.
such a joy. Nature is a huge focus,
Mhm.
and then it goes on and on. We'll have classes of telekinesis and animal communication and all sorts of things is coming.
Wow.
um, so in 2023, are we in 2025 now?
Yeah. I have to remind myself too.
Really don't know. 2023, um, I decided because I Rock and Rose Rituals is the candles that I make with the 14 yew tree, which we spoke about, and I make these candles and bringing back ritual bathing to people, but I was selling them on markets and pop-ups and things, and I was like, right, I'd love to have my own shop, but I don't want it to be on a high street. I want it to be amongst the trees. 2 weeks later, this place, and it's like 10 minutes down the road from where I live. It's a big. It's called Upton Country Park. It's 160 acres right on the coast, and it has a big stately home there. And I was actually ringing up for a friend. I wasn't even thinking about myself. I was ringing up for a friend to see if they had a space for her to run a workshop. But as I'm on the phone, my guys immediately start piping up. Ask about a shop for you, Lisa. And I was like, I can't. I haven't got any money. Just ask. They were very firm about this. So I did. And they said, oh, we may have. Send us an email proposal. We'll see what we can do. And so this proposal wrote itself. They got back straight away. We love it. Come and see it. We're in. And then I thought it was for the candles and everything, but no, it's the seedling of the school. And then I get the name came through. Conkers Earth School was the original name that came through. But the children have since said, Lisa, you've got to drop the word school because we hate school, but we love coming here. So I said, "Oh, you tell me what." So they came up with Magical Earth Academy.
I love it.
So it literally, so how it's the foundation of our curriculum so far was literally delivered to me by Merlin. In a dream where I was making magic potions with children. And again, I didn't know this was going to be, I thought it was just sounded like a fun thing to do. So I woke up feeling really excited, saying, "Dan, I've had this amazing dream. I'm going to do this." And so together we made all these little pots of potions and ingredients, all natural. And again, I designed it. I didn't design it. I just brought it into the physical. Like saying I don't have children. I am a big mother. Like I birth so
Yeah.
much,
Yeah.
so much, constantly. So I birthed this in, and yeah, we started doing it here, teaching magic potion masterclasses with Merlin, and and it's so funny, when I ask the children, can anybody tell me who Merlin is? No. Does anybody know who Dumbledore is? Oh yeah. I was like, well, Merlin's friend Dumbledore. Oh, then they're interested. So yeah, we do magic potions, and that's evolved, and it's all magical based. But I realized as we're doing these potions, I was like, this is attracting a certain vibration of family and
Yeah.
child.
Yeah.
So, you know, we don't have any muggles come to us, for want of a better word. Everyone that comes are they're giddy with excitement. They're like, oh my God, this is everything I love, because the shop is really magical. It's got little enchanted forests inside, fairy lights everywhere, flowers, birds. We have birds that come in and join us, bees, butterflies in the building. And and yeah, so these are very sensory classes. And so the children are completely safe, completely held to really bring out who they are, which is just, I mean, I had one little girl of 4, and she's full class, and she puts her hand up. She said, do you know that there are beings in nature that can see us, but we can't see them because of our vibration? Age 4, age
Oh,
4, right? And her mum stood behind her just going, I have no idea where she gets this from. I said, but it's true. She's absolutely right.
wow.
I've had little ones that are being told that they're non-verbal autistic.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute nonsense. They're very
Mm-hmm.
chatty, but I can receive their uh, words, their
Yeah.
language. So
Yeah.
they bring their parents to me so I can translate for them and relay the messages to the parents. That's only happened twice, but that's happening. And
Amazing.
again, so many, I would say probably about 80% of the families that come to us, they say, oh yeah, my child is autistic, my child has ADHD, or
Yeah. Yeah.
and yet the children absolutely thrive in our
Yeah.
environment. They
Yeah.
thrive. And at the end, we get hugs from them. And the
Yeah.
parents' jaws will hit the floor. They're like, they never go near
Yeah.
anybody. It's just vibration. Doesn't
Absolutely.
need them.
You've made so many magical points there. It's just beautiful, just the trust in our children to lead the way because this is how it should be. And they've been trying to bust out of these programming centres for a very long time, which has been part of our journey. We know now that they're just big programming centres and, it's to produce carbon copies.
Mhm.
It's not conducive to, with all intents and purposes, there are a lot of teachers, and I would like to say, not in an egotistical sense, but create the most incredible conditions, as many of us did. But there's always parameters when you're
Yeah.
stuck with a curriculum that you have to work with and a certain building that you have to work within and
But
all
I
those
get I
things.
get emails asking for a job from these teachers. They're like, we love teaching, we love working with children, but we can't be in this
Yeah,
anymore. This is hard.
environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, how
You're
amazing.
off with stress, high stress. It's really
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is the thing, there are so many teachers who have gone in with very good intentions who maybe know that this system isn't great, and they're doing the best they can, but there's so much bureaucracy and it's very politicized as well. So here we have the system disruptors who are saying, no, we're not going to fit into that system. We're going to grow and evolve and develop who we are. And to hear these incredible stories where, because of the lack of indoctrination and conditioning, they're retaining the essence of who they are. So they are still a vibrational match for the nature spirits. They can still be in harmony in that frequency field. And that is what is going to now lead this planet forward. It's like it leaps and bounds.
sure is, yeah.
It's
And
amazing.
we work with every day. We work with the dragons and the unicorns and fairies, mermaids, phoenix, whatever the children are connecting to. And interestingly, when we were in the year of the dragon, the
Yeah.
children didn't know this. They
Yeah.
didn't. But so many of them were really connecting with dragons, like
Yeah.
really connect. This year, it's all about unicorns. It's a
Wow.
unicorn year. Really interesting. And Merlin told me at the beginning of last year, start recording the names of all the children that come and the potions that they create. And
Wow.
then, of course, this is a book of itself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So many of the children, they have names like Artemis and Phoenix and Boudica and, like really strong names. And the potions that they make, I would say probably around, I don't know, 70% are potions to help the earth, to help the ocean, to help the animals, to help, the planet. It's just gorgeous.
It really is. And these are our sensitives. And when you think about how so many of us have grown up to, again, be conditioned not to be sensitive,
Ah,
stop crying or, stop daydreaming or, always brought to somewhere else that is not natural to who we really are.
mm,
And what really broke my heart, Lisa Marie, and I couldn't bear it any longer, where the amount of, and I say this without judgment, I really do, but the amount of parents who were feeling helpless because they didn't know what was wrong, and I say that with inverted commas, with their child.
yeah.
And the battle that I had was, explaining to them that there is everything right with your child. This is the systems that and I had to be careful because it's a careful dance because I was employed,
Yeah.
as a local authority employee. So it's like
Fine line to walk for you.
fine line to walk, but there were moments where I just was like, feck it, I'm just saying exactly what I think. There is everything right with your child. They are the way showers. They are showing us that
Yeah.
this system, unfortunately, is not conducive to your child's learning style, who they are as a soul. And it really depended on the parents and how far I could take that conversation. But, sometimes I was really landing it with them and saying that, for example, ADHD always dialed into hyper dimensions. It's not a disability. They have superpowers. They're not just thinking linear in a linear fashion. They're thinking laterally. These are the blue sky thinkers. These are the children that are like, what box? It's like
Yeah.
they just see possibilities. It's like allow their creativity out. And this again is what's going to change how we live, how we think, how we operate and move in the world. But sadly, it was like, in say, an hour's meeting with a parent and there's other professionals there, you're limited in how far you can take those conversations. So it was exhausting, but it's so reassuring to hear that there are many families who are ready for this. They've been longing for this. What you are offering, Lisa Marie, it's a safe place for them to be themselves and to explore all aspects of who they are. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. The corona, I call it the crowning,
Hmm.
was a blessing
Hmm.
because so many families then, because they were realized the difference in their children.
Yeah.
And so I'm connected with a wonderful lady called Gem, and she runs the website called myhomeedvillage.com.
Hmm.
Incredible resource for families that are interested in home educating their children. She home educates hers, or already doing it and need a community because there's.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's a lot more now, but 2 years ago, there was around 80,000 families in the UK home educating their children.
Mm.
And the ones that come to us, so I see that as the bridge point to then the new
Hmm.
education centres.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what we are. So I encourage people like, instead of fighting the old, let's just
Yeah.
look at what's being built. We'll
Yeah.
share with you what's being built. Come and help. Come
Yeah.
and join us. We're actually having a big gathering on the solstice at
Yeah.
11 a.m. on, I think it's the 21st of June, is it the solstice, at
Yeah.
Upton Country
Yeah.
House. Anybody that feels the call, please join us. You're very welcome. Yeah, I mean, I think we've got Jamie Oliver coming on board. We've got loads of people like, and people, high profile people that are coming out and saying this needs to change now, which is incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, the home educated children that come to us, they there is a vast difference in their levels of um, knowing who they are,
Mhm.
their confidence, um, their intelligence, their emotional intelligence, their everything.
Yeah.
They're like leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
There's a big difference, big
Yeah.
difference. So actually, what
Absolutely.
we're told, you need to get a good education. That's hindering
Hmm.
our children. It is
Hmm.
actually hindering our children.
Yeah. It absolutely is. And, you're just taking me back to conversations that I had because I talk about the silver lining in the COVID cloud.
Hmm.
And as much as I was like, what the is going on in this world? And it was a very stressful time in my career because we had to set up we were operating our schools remotely, and trying to keep in touch with our families, especially those that are most vulnerable. And there was parents losing their
Education.
jobs, and so then you had more children in a vulnerable situation. Um, there was just so much going on, and then we were operating because we were told to operate these, let's call them childcare hubs, because that's what they were at the end of the day for first line key workers, as they were designated. And yeah, it was a very, very stressful time, but actually what we were seeing then was a huge shift to, for me certainly, and it wasn't everyone, but there certainly was a significant mindset shift for a lot of parents to see actually how their children thrived when they were at home, and how learning didn't have to be this way. It could be this, or this. There's all ways that are possible. So I was starting to have sneaky conversations with parents saying, "Oh, tell me more about, how that was working for you." And I got told off by my employers at the time because there was quite a number of my families who decided to continue with the homeschool route. And I wasn't doing enough to bring those children back into school. So I had to kind of, rebel against that. And I thought, what's the agenda here? What is the agenda? These parents and children are very comfortable with this way for them. It's feeling really good and aligned for them. Who are we to say that that's not how things should be done? So I just found it a very interesting time, and I thought, I cannot bear to be complicit in this any longer. I've known forever how wrong this is, and I thought by being in the system, I could change more. But now
Still
I've say that again, Lisa Marie.
have changed a lot. I bet the children
Yeah,
really miss you.
yeah. I mean, latterly I was in a leadership management role, so you're not as close to the children every day, all of the time. And again, I really, really miss that. But trying to affect change where you could, and even to get staff, on board with daily meditation, that was like a huge leap, for staff then to buy into that. And then, of course, we see the benefits, and having yoga corners in every classroom space, and all of that kind of stuff. It's like, let's just drip, drip, drip. But I guess the frustration for me was it was too slow. And there are many families that need this now. So I really hear and I feel your message with, we need funding, we need more support, we need people to step in, because in these situations, in these beautiful environments like what you've set up, your beautiful academy, we need more of it. There's not enough of it. And for you to have this, and there will be others, in other
Well,
places.
there are many people that connect to me from around the world saying I've received the same
Amazing.
call. Yeah, there
This
are
is the
all around
thing.
the world. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the thing. And it just takes one person, one courageous soul like yourself and your partner, Dan, to say, we're doing it. We're making that phone call and we're going to go for it. And here you are, these children are so thriving. And look where that will lead. It's like, wow.
Yeah. We've no
So,
idea. Well, I have one lady that brings her granddaughter to me, and she works for the local council, BCP Council, in a division that they've had to set up for families of difficult children.
mhm,
And it's these children that are just they're refusing to go to schools.
yeah,
So they've set up a whole division to try and support these difficult children. And she came to our class, and within minutes of the potion class starting, she's in floods of tears. She's like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. She went, sweetheart, she said, I'm going to help you. So she said, yeah, she's connected on the inside of the council and all of that. So I don't, I'm just like, thank you,
yeah,
and whatever will come our way, because
yeah.
yeah, she knows, she knows, she sees it firsthand. And we have so many, young children that are getting in trouble, getting expelled, and they come to us and they help us teach the classes.
Yeah.
They do.
It's so wonderful, isn't it? It's really wonderful. And again, I'm recalling here, when I went to my last school, in my role as a head teacher, there were staff who were so disillusioned, and God love them. They all go in for the right reasons, at least the majority do, but they had become so browbeaten themselves and just cynical because of the system. And they weren't necessarily all pouring love into the children and into the learning experiences. And as I say, I'm big on outdoor education. There's lots I could speak about, what we kind of changed there. But we would have residentials, and my staff were not on board to start with taking some of these difficult children on residential experiences. So those were difficult conversations to have to change those mindsets. Like, these kids, all kids need these experiences. This is actually what it should be like every day, do you know? So to deny them of a week, when it should be like this all of the time, like, come on, let's have a look at ourselves here and let's search within our heart. What are we actually saying here? So having these difficult conversations were never difficult for me. It's like, come on, what are we doing? Are we really denying these kids these incredible experiences? I know that you're worried about what their behaviours are going to be like, but that's my responsibility. We're going to get robust plans in place to ensure that everybody has a safe, beautiful, enjoyable experience. And we always did. And it was always out in nature where our children thrived because
And
it's what's most natural to them.
yeah. And also, if you tell a child often enough that they're difficult or they're bad or there's something wrong with them,
Right.
then this is what happened to me.
Mhm.
Eventually, we're going to go, fuck you then,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah,
Which is what I did. And then we'll really show you how difficult and disruptive we can
yeah,
be.
yeah,
And that's how I'm wired. Whereas others really plummet into deep depression, self-harm.
yeah,
I've had a girl of 6 who self-harms that comes to us.
yeah, yeah.
So, I'm really passionate about this.
Yeah, I can tell, as am I. And I'm like, oh my God, because I've seen all of that too, how young children are the anxiety and
Oh,
what happens when they are being so suppressed. It's really, really sad. It's really sad. So I want to honor you so much for being the incredibly brave soul that you are and
you too.
following that call and putting into action the most beautiful, beautiful experiences for our children. So I want to really thank you for that. It just fills my heart with, I can't tell you, like, so much joy.
I
It's
wish we lived
amazing.
closer so you could come and join in. You would love it. You
I
really
know, I would
We've
absolutely
got
love
our
it.
own one in Scotland. We've got a tribe of us. I think I told you, didn't I? All around
Yeah,
your area. So
yeah.
you meet all of them.
Wow, wow.
Mhm.
I would love now just to we've talked about the little children. What about the big children? You touched on your adventures, yeah, your Rose and Rock adventures, and we started this whole conversation around, you feeling called to go to the Azores. Your whale guide was showing you that's somewhere that you had to go. Scotland very much feels like, part of your home as well. You're based in Dorset. You've travelled all over the world. your rock and roll adventures for big kids like myself, you know, that are really, really like some people have been at this for a very long time, but I'm just awakening to like, oh my God, you know, like how activated you can feel going to sacred sites,
Yeah.
how powerful we are as anchors of light, or whatever way you want to describe it, to heal ourselves and heal the lands and connect with nature.
Mm.
Tell us all about your rock and rose adventures, maybe what's coming up that people can look out for.
Mm. Yeah. So, I mean, this has been, I know from my own journey that certain sites you go to, you will have downloads of information, of memory returning to you. So, I had astrological chart reading done years ago, about 15 years ago, and the lady said to me, Lisa, you may not remember the land that you traveled to, but the land remembers you. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, that I feel that. I feel that. And you will find that to certain, if you're feeling called, when you get there, you'll feel like you're home. I don't know if because I incarnated to Buxton in Derbyshire, so it's known for its waters, its healing waters, and it's in the Peak District, um, and I love it, but it never felt like it was my home,
Mhm.
never.
Mhm.
So traveling all around the world, and then I get to Cambodia, it's like, oh, this feels like home. And then I got to Scotland, and oh my God, yeah. Every time I go to, especially this place in Perthshire, I literally see immediately roots emerging from the soles of my feet and just going deep into the earth. They're like, oh, we're home, we're home. Um, so yeah, and I had a download when I was on the Azores, so I had this feeling there, and Day and I were walking along the ocean. I had this download that when we travel around the earth, we're actually traveling around ourselves.
Mhm.
I don't know where this came from,
Mhm.
and it's brand new to me, so I'm not sure if what it, but because we know that the earth has chakras and ley lines, meridians.
Mhm.
Everything that we have, the human body, the planetary body, it's all one and the same. So we go to these places, and it's all parts of ourselves. So we're just reclaiming parts of ourselves.
Mhm.
Not everybody feels called to do this. I can't stop doing it for some reason. Um, but yeah, so when I was living in Scotland and I set up Rock and Rose Rituals, again, I got a nudge to set up to offer tours around Scotland. It was just Scotland then. And so I just put it on my site. It's a tiny little bit. It's really hidden. I don't advertise it. Nothing. I don't shout about it on social media at all. I've only just started, but it's been on there for like 3 years. And yeah, I've done five now, I think. And at the moment, it's all been women from the United States that come over.
Wow.
Yeah, so some are either wanting to connect in with their ancestry, but most of all, the land is calling them for, there's a lot of all the same theme, Magdalene, Yeshua. And then now I've just got two ladies coming over from Australia. They're actually from Colombia, but live in Australia, and they're feeling called to Scotland for a Lemurian connection.
Mm.
So, yeah, just by answering these calls, you just put it out there. And I remember looking at my website going, okay, so there's candles, there's magic potions, there's van life stuff, there's travel. People are going to think I'm crazy. But it's like, it's all the things that I love. So amazingly, people connect to all of it.
I love this. And what you're describing is like my ADHD brain. You know, I find it very difficult to niche down because I'm multifaceted, multi-passionate, and it's like, oh, and I
Well,
love
we're
this, and I love
multidimensional,
this.
aren't we? So
We're
why,
multi-dimensional.
that's when the children tell me I've got ADHD, I said, excellent, so have I. It's your superpower. I have four
Exactly.
businesses. We can do all the things, right? So
Exactly.
embrace it. Yeah.
Exactly. So do you have any retreats that you're leading that are coming up this year, next year?
Yes. Yeah. We have one in October. I forget the dates.
They're on your
Yeah,
website.
yeah, it's on the website. It's the end of October, sorry, end of September, first week of October, and it's called. I'm doing it with two ladies. One of the ladies, they're both from America. One of the ladies that did one of my tours, and then we just, it just happened really quickly. And she's very on it and organized. So I'm just turning up to this, which is amazing. So I'll be leading the tours for this. But it's called Quantum Wellbeing Retreat, and it's at Dungarthill House, which is in Dunkeld in Scotland. So it's on the spine of Albion Ley line.
Hmm.
Very, very magical place. And so yeah, there'll be, incredible food because I used to be a caterer before all of this happened. So food is very important to me. And yoga every morning, massage, and human design, astrology, and some kind of bioresonance frequency healing thing. It's all on the website. And if you want to know more about it, just reach out to Katie on there.
Gosh,
And then I'll be leading everyone on tours to sacred sites.
how
We have
amazing.
that one in October. We have another one next spring as well.
Well, I'm going to do my very best to be there because it's only maybe half an hour up the road
Down the
for
road
me as
from
well.
you.
So yeah, I would love, love, love to come along. And we had a brief connection call before you headed off to the Azores, Lisa Marie, just to meet each other. And I was really blown away when you mentioned very specifically the Fortingle U because I said, I can't believe that you've just said this because it's been coming up in my field and my conscious awareness so, so much. So I ended up going and visiting when you
Fantastic.
were away and oh gosh, it was just such a beautiful, beautiful day. It was really sunny and glorious. And my youngest daughter came with me and the dog, who was very nippy that day. Everybody was like, is your dog okay? I'm like, yeah, she just behaves like this all the time. Just pulling and panting. And they're like, does she need a drink? No, we've got plenty of water with her. She's just like, what is this place? So it wasn't until a couple of days later that I had, and it literally was 2 days later, I had a series of incredible experiences where the crystal skull, who's now told me her name is Mariam. Um, she's been telling me that she's ready to work with me now. I've had her for years, and this was really bizarre. She woke me up about 4 o'clock in the morning, two
I'm
days
just going
after
to
I'd
say hello to
visited.
Mariam.
Oh, love it, love it, love
And let me say hello to Mariam.
it. And so she was knocking, she was rocking and knocking on the side of my bedside table, told me her name and said, I want to come into this podcast conversation with you today. So I had a conversation with Tim Wilde that day, spoke to him about it. And then I had another amazing conversation. This is a podcast episode I'm going to be editing today to hopefully get out tomorrow with a shamanic teacher, and she's also a teacher of moon priestess magic as well. Earlier in that morning, after I was woken by my crystal skull, I'd had a meditation with a group of friends. Really beautiful. Just played the music, went in, and it was the Fertingle U, and it was going woo. It was like light. And it was like morphing, and I knew it was representing the tree of life, Yggdrasil. And it was just amazing. So the four of us that were in meditation, I saw us sitting around the tree and we were menstruating into the roots of the tree with these solar codes from the sun hitting our faces. And we were singing and chanting. It was so beautiful. And it was like we were giving back to the earth, giving back this nourishment back to Mother Earth. And then the meditation flipped to evening, and it was a full moon, and there are standing stone circles close to the Fortingle U, and we were weaving almost like in a sort of meditative dance, and we were still singing and we were still bleeding into the earth, and we were giving back this grateful thanks to Mother Earth for providing for us. And when I shared this with Fatula, who was the shamanic teacher that I'm going to be sharing the episode tomorrow, she said, Kelly, this is what we must return to doing. She says, offering this blood rather than the bloodshed that has come through wars in the land. There is so much trauma in the lands. And I thought, gosh, we were never told this. I certainly was never told this. about how important it is to honor the lands in this way, honor, our womanhood in this way, to be together in this way. So I know that this is memories that have dropped back in for me of, yeah, just the ways of how it should be, what's most natural. And I thought, gosh, we never teach this in sex education in school.
No, right?
Like, this
Uh,
is what we should be teaching. This is the sacredness of living in symbiosis with Mother Earth.
mm,
So
definitely.
I would love to hear, like, the Fortingle U has really activated me in a way that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And you had also told me that, it was masculine and it's changing its sex to feminine. So that,
2015.
yeah. So she's now producing berries
Yeah.
autumn time, I'm assuming late summer into autumn,
Yeah.
at her crown, which fascinates me as well. So I would love to hear your response to not necessarily that directly, but just, there's one ex recent example from my own personal life of what can happen as a result of going to a sacred site. And then I've had an incredible vision, a soul remembrance. So the Fortingle you I know is special for you as well. I'd just love you to share whatever you feel called to share in response to
An
that.
amazing experience because I only learned about offering your blood to the earth in 2019 again when the whole Magdalene thing started happening for me. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's when I first started doing it in Scotland. Um, but yeah, the tree called to me via two sisters. Both of them went, Lisa, you need to go to the 40-year tree. And then a few days later, another one. They don't know each other. Lisa,
Wow.
you need to go to the 40-year tree. So the second I was like, okay, maybe I need to go to this tree. So I got there and I just stood in front of it. I didn't think anything of it. I
Yeah.
really didn't. But I just said, okay, I'm here now. What? What now? Like, why did you call me? Immediately I heard, I would like to invite you to ingest a part of me, but I must warn you, I am poisonous to many.
Hmm.
Those words.
Yeah.
Right in front of my face were these three young shoots, the needles. And so I didn't know that the yew tree is poisonous.
Yeah.
But I now know that that's again another way to keep you away from
Uh-huh.
true knowledge. I would not recommend anybody go and eat yew tree at all because it really kicked my ass.
Mhm. Mhm.
However, so I ate the three young shoots and I was like, okay, but what now? I just knew I needed to do it.
Mhm.
Nothing. Silence, nothing. So I was
Mhm.
like, okay, maybe that's method, that's it. So then I was like, oh, thinking Glen Lyon is up the way. Do you know Glen Lyon?
Yes, I know where it is, but I'm not familiar with it.
Powerful place, very, very powerful place. So I went there, I was in my camper van. I drove to Glen Lyon and I parked up. I thought, I'll go for a little walk in the woods there. There's a little forest. And as soon as I got into the forest, I could feel fairies all around me so strongly. And I felt a bit unusual. So I thought, oh, maybe I'll just go and have some lunch and just ground. And so I went back and cooked some pasta. And then as soon as I ate that, oh, I feel a little sleepy. So I put my head down. I thought I'll just have a little nap. And I woke up 3 hours later and quite disorientated. So I felt a little bit, I'm in the middle of this glen. There's nothing around. There's no phone connection. There's nobody around. There's no buildings. There's nothing. So maybe I should drive back to where I was staying at the time and just, settle in. So I did. I drove back and then 3 days of what I call death and rebirth. So 3 days of visions, vomiting,
Mhm.
lots and lots and lots of sleep.
Mhm.
Um, and curiously, one of my purges in the center was a golden heart. I mean, it was bile, but it was in the perfect shape of a heart in the center of a golden heart. Um, and so, yeah, ever since then, I can hear plants. I can talk to, I can receive the messages of the plants, and so I'm more connected to nature than ever before.
Mhm.
And it was the tree that gave me the rock and rose rituals. And I went back. This was in the March or April, and I went back at do you call it Samhain? I always saying it wrong.
I say it's Samhain,
I
yeah.
went, I went back there and I said, "Oh, I've returned. Do you have another message for me?" And she said, "You're to bring ritual bathing back to the people. Don't worry about how it's going to work. You leave that to us." So I was shown exactly how these ritual bathing kits are, and each one had to come with a crystal that I had to bless on the land at certain points, and a candle. So I was looking online to buy candles for these kits, and then no, you're going to make the candles. So that's why I make candles. And so I spent 2 years learning this. And I realized as I'm making them, I had all these plant spirits coming to help. Right, okay, we're going to give you this message for this one. So all of the candles come with messages from the plants, and one actually has a message from the fairies from the Isle of Skye. Um, and I realized I've kind of created an oracle deck in candles. Well, not I have. I've given birth to an oracle deck in candles. I've got loads. There's loads that have come through.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, I call them love notes from Gaia. They're just, I almost feel like it's Mother Earth saying, "We know people love a smelly candle. Let's give them this." But it's our way of reaching more people. So,
Yeah.
so when whoever orders these candles, they're inviting the energy of these plants into their home. So it's kind of whatever they're drawn to is what they need the
Yeah.
most. It's quite remarkable. And I've
Yeah.
had amazing feedback from people of the experiences that they have, especially with our wild rose candle.
Wow. Well, I am most definitely putting an order in today.
Oh, bless.
Um, our beautiful Diane, our mutual friend that I mentioned right at the start of this beautiful conversation, had said to me, "Kelly, you really have to get one of Lisa Marie's candles." I said, "Don't you worry, I will be." So I love the fact that you're bringing ritual back to it as well. It's
Yeah.
bringing back the honouring of the plants and the sacredness of us and nature. So this is perfectly timed because my husband's actually in the midst of refurbishing our bathroom. So I'm very, very happy to have a bath very soon again. We have a shower downstairs, but it's not that we're not bathing, just in case
Bathing,
anybody's
ritual
lost.
bathing is it takes your experience to a whole new level, and each kit comes with a playlist that I spent 6 months curating alone in the heart of Scotland. So, just receiving, receiving, receiving. So it's working with sound healing as well. It just transforms your bathroom into a healing chamber. I mean, it's genius. I when I do them, I'm like, this is incredible. It's certainly not from me.
Oh,
Mm,
how beautiful. You're giving me a remembrance of something I was gifted years ago whilst I was still a young teacher. And I hope that it comes into being. It was seeing almost like a merging of a healing and educational centre. And I was told exactly where it would be. And it was in a workplace that I actually worked in at the time. It used to be a milk bar and then it became a quite a big restaurant. And it's sat now empty for years and years and years. I'm like, ah, it's there and it's right on the edge of a very magical forest that I visit regularly. So,
where is it?
just so it's just off of the M90 at Junction 4. So it's on the edge of Blair Adam Forest. So I grew up in a village called Kelty and I live just 10 minutes up the road in Kinross now.
Hmm.
It's just perfect. And I was actually shown that I would host festivals there, like well-being festivals for like children and families.
I've received the same download when I was living in that area of Scotland where you are, that I'm going to be putting on festivals. And I was like, sure, whatever, but I don't know how to do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
When I come up in October, I'll gather all of us because I think well, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah. And I'm just so grateful for everything that you've shared here because that's a dream that I've been wondering, will it ever happen? I was even told what to call it.
Yeah.
So there's another synchronicity with this as well. So whether it does ever, get called this, but I was told to call it the White Feather Sanctuary.
Beautiful.
And then I learned because I thought I'm going to have a look online, further down the years if anybody else has called their business that. And Julian Lennon has something called the White Feather Foundation, I discovered.
Oh,
And I share the same birthday with John Lennon. And I
really?
thought, oh, I wonder if this is a sign. So
Yeah,
I thought, I wonder if I should reach out to him sometime and see if he was,
definitely.
you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So just hearing your braveness and how, 10 minutes down the road, you found the perfect place. It's literally 10 minutes down the road from
Yeah.
me. And having held this vision for, it'll be well over 20 years now, I've had this coming to me, coming to me, coming to me. And hearing how you've just had the bravery to just step out, we're doing it, it's happening. I'm like, oh. So I know that everybody tuning into this will be thinking, gosh, where can I now make a difference? Even if it's changing
Everyone can. And,
again. Yeah,
just just by just having a small gathering, a small circle makes a
yeah,
massive difference.
yeah.
And, I wanted to bring a message to you that I received from Yeshua. Um, a couple of months back, I was interviewed for the telepathy tapes for our work here, and I
Wow.
was nervous. I was nervous about that one because it's a big, it's like the
Yeah.
most listened to podcast on Spotify now. It's
Oh,
really
wow.
mushroomed, yeah. And so I sat there and I was like, oh yeah, sure. Like I actually called him in and I could just feel him chuckling. He went, Lisa, you're only talking to yourself.
So true. I love
Do
it.
you know what I mean? So anytime we get nervous, just go like if you felt nervous like reaching out to Julian Lennon, just go, just talking to myself. That's the heart of that.
Oh, thank you for that beautiful reminder. And also just reminding us that just start off small, and so for example, I've started like a small intimate gathering in my home once a fortnight. It's called Sacred Steps. And the magic that happens just in those small intimate groups, it's mind blowing. And I've stepped back out to host my 1 day retreats again, and those are fairly small gatherings because I love the intimacy, I love the connection, I love really feeling the energy, and that just feels so aligned for me. But even for those people that are tuning into this, even just change one thing, just even listen to your children in a different way. Really listen to them.
Ask their opinions.
Yeah,
Ask how they feel.
yeah,
If you're
yeah.
not sure about on a big decision in life, ask your children.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How beautiful. Oh my goodness. I just love you, Lisa Marie. Honestly, I just feel like I just know
Yeah,
you. It's
yeah,
just like I
yeah.
just know you. I feel your heart. I can't even tell you. It's actually been, I'm not going to say it's been comfortable. There's actually been some pain in my heart here, and that always tells me that there's something breaking through. So this has been so much more than a conversation for me. And I'm sure, as I say, everybody tuning in will feel something so deeply within themselves stirring as well. And I want to thank you for that.
I am excited for when we're all dancing at our festival.
Me too. Me
I'm
too.
there already.
How
No, but thank
amazing.
you, Kelly. The way you hold space and the questions you ask, you make me feel so, 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 so comfortable. And I do. I feel like I've known you forever. It's
I
it's
know, it's just so beautiful. I could talk to you forever. But obviously, we're going to have to wrap this up because you're a busy lady. You're just home, and I'm probably going to go and make a cup of tea and just sit with this beautiful exchange for a bit. Um, but I want everybody to know that all of your beautiful offerings are on, you've got a gorgeous website, so it's easy to see all of these beautiful, beautiful offerings that you have. Anybody that's listening that thinks, I want to be part of that, or I want to support that, or I want to sponsor that, or I want to know how I can maybe set something up similarly in my locality,
reach
please
out,
reach out.
happily share with anybody. Yeah, happily.
Beautiful, beautiful. So before you go, Lisa Marie, I would love to choose a card for you, a message for you, and for everybody tuning in from my own Oracle deck, the Soul Call, which has been such a beautiful creation for me to bring forward. And these messages are all based on my own awakening, if you like, my own spiritual awakening, my own lived experience. So I would love to share a card for you if you're happy to receive.
Thank you.
See what comes through for you and everybody else. Oh, I love this card. Diamond Cave. She looks quite like you do.
Diane will love that one.
She will.
Yeah.
Yeah, a diamond light grid, yeah,
Yeah.
diamond cave. Now this is really interesting because just when I was about to send the oracle deck to the printers, it was actually the sapphire cave because that's what I had been dropping into a lot. And I still go there on occasion, but I was told to upgrade it to the diamond cave. And so that gave me quite a bit more extra work, but I love it.
You know, people talk about the indigo crystal rainbow children. The children tell me they're diamond.
I love it. Makes so much sense. It
Yeah,
makes so much
we're
sense.
diamond. Yeah.
So this is all about meditating and connecting within. Within the sacred sanctuary of your heart lies the diamond cave, a place of immense clarity, wisdom, and divine connection. This card invites you to step into this radiant space within, where the purest facets of your soul glimmer with light. As you enter, you are reminded of the boundless strength and beauty that resides in the depths of your being. In this space, take time to meditate and contemplate deeply. Allow the stillness of the diamond cave to bring you clarity, illuminating the areas of your life that need healing, attention, or love. Here, in the quiet glow of your heart's sacred space, you can release all external noise, fears, and doubts. Let the energy of the diamond bring focus to your mind and calm to your spirit, reminding you that you carry the wisdom and strength of the divine within you. This card asks you to connect with this inner sanctuary often, allowing it to renew and recharge you. The more you visit the diamond cave of your heart, the more aligned you become with your highest truth, gaining the insight and strength to navigate your life with grace and purpose. In the diamond's light, I see the heart's wisdom calm and free. In stillness deep, I find my way, and through this light, I choose to stay.
Amazing. Oh gosh. So
So, thank you for receiving that message.
this one here that was joining us when
Wow.
you were reading.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh,
your
beautiful.
voice is so beautiful, Kelly. Are you going to do something with it? Use it in your work? I mean, I know you do podcasts, but you know, maybe meditations.
Yes, so inside the guidebook, there are spreads that people can do readings for themselves, but I do one-to-one readings and intuit, messages for people in my group programs as well. And one of the layouts in here is called the Heart's Mirror. So, we are projecting, and co-creating the conditions that we require in our experience for our souls to grow. But it's all coming from our heart. So the Heart's Mirror layout is really beautiful. And what I did was I hosted a master class and invited souls to come into that. It was really beautiful. So they were doing their layouts and we were intuiting those messages. And what dropped in for me very recently, which is so beautiful, since I've visited the Fortingle U and Mariam has come online to work with me, um, what intuitively dropped in the other day was something called the Rose Lineage Spread. And so I facilitated that for the small group that comes to my home on a Tuesday night. And I can't even, I would need an hour to tell you about the magic that unfolded with that. It was incredible. So Spirit are really, my Magdalene self, if you like, is pushing me to take this out. Um, and what I'm sitting with right now is, do I go out and call it the Rose Lineage Oracle reading? Or do I make it more accessible for, maybe the corporate woman who is now like me, that's the path I've walked. It's like I've done I've ticked all the boxes and I've got to this point in my life, but there is more. There's I'm a spirit being and I want to connect to that priestess within, the Magdalene within. So yeah, this is just sort of like the stimulus for, I believe, what's coming next.
So interesting, yeah, because I'm part of a collective of Rose sisters around the world that an oracle deck is about to be published, and we've each contributed a card. Yeah, and it's called the Rose Oracle. I think it's called the Rose Oracle. So I can't share too much on that yet, but
Oh, yeah. How
coming out soon.
beautiful.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
beautiful. We're all feeling it, aren't we? We're
Oh,
all
feeling it.
feeling it.
Yeah, yeah.
Gorgeous. So, so gorgeous.
So gorgeous.
Lisa Marie, I hope that we can get you back on sometime, back onto the show.
I'm a joy to connect with. I could talk to you for hours. I mean, I say I've got to go and make dragon eggs now.
Oh,
A
I
magic wand.
absolutely love
Yeah.
it. How amazing. Oh, I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for being so
You
generous with your
too.
time and your energy
And
today.
I'm so happy we finally made this because we tried a couple of times, didn't we?
I know, I
I
know.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Oh. And it's
Thank
going to go out and be received at the perfect time as well. So thank you to everybody for tuning in to today's episode. I know that this will mean so much to you. Please, I love to read your comments down below. So please comment away. And I'll also drop all of Lisa Marie's links below this episode too. So please check out this incredible, incredible soul. Big love, everyone. Mwah. Bye for now.
you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Soul Call with Kelly B today. If this episode spoke to your heart, I'd be so grateful if you'd take a moment to like, subscribe, or share it with someone who needs to hear it. Your support truly means the world, and it helps this message ripple even further. And if you're feeling called to explore more of my work, my latest offerings, sessions, and ways to connect are all in the show notes below. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, keep listening to your beautiful soul. With so much love, Kelly.